to all you Scorpios and a happy new year. This is the first monthly horoscope for 2016 and let's start straight away for your monthly horoscope in general for Scorpio. If you've got a Scorpio ascendant, the sun sign in Scorpio or the moon sign. Now, what is very interesting is that a little asteroid called Pallas is very much into the picture during this month, because normally I always have a look at the asteroids anyway, and I always mention them when I see that other planets are traveling together with these asteroids, and this is the case. Pallas is now in for approximately the whole month. In January it's in Capricorn, and there's so much emphasis in Capricorn in your third house. It's like a catharsis happening there, and it's good. It means it's needed. And what is this all about? So there's also Mercury retrograde going on there in that third house. Now, by the way, the Mercury retrograde is in Capricorn, and that's an earth sign that goes well with you Scorpios. So I often find that when a Mercury retrograde goes on in a sign that squares us, or that is the most difficult, or it's more gentle when it's in an element that it goes well together. So as the case is the case with you, so that's a good thing. Now, what is Pallas all about? Pallas is and you will like that. Pallas is an asteroid that is all about wisdom. It's all about wisdom. It's about strategy. It's about planning. So it's actually the wise stratege, the wise woman, the wise man, planning on a very wise manner. And planning what? Well, your communication, your words. They're going to be so full of impact in January. Now, the third house is many things, but in general, mostly it's communication. It's also siblings. And of course, it could mean that there is some kind of a catharsis. If you do have brothers or sisters, there can happen some kind of catharsis there with a sibling, and that is needed in order for both of you can grow. I say that also because it's again emphasized with the new moon there. There's a new moon in Capricorn on the 10th. So around the 10th, it's like you putting off an old coat and wearing a new one and feeling free. Because the Mercury retrograde goes together with Pluto in that third house of communication. And so the best advice to give you, be wise with your words. Be wise, plan them before. It could also be with a member in your environment, the neighbor, for instance. Maybe you had some neighbor problems, and now with all this catharsis energy, it's like coming towards a little crisis maybe, but it has to, because otherwise it's going into circles and it's not getting solved. And by going through that crisis, you can go further. And on a higher level, on a better level, on a more authentic, true level. And so that Mercury also aspects Pluto and Uranus. So this shows there is some... another thing that Pallas is all about, it wants to cut through illusions. So you're going to cut through some illusions there. Illusions, that were starting there in the mind. They mostly start in the mind, don't they? You're going to cut through them. That has to do with, as I said, with your environment, with your way that you communicate towards other people, towards connections. It's going towards a totally more wise, deep, profound manner of communication. That's where it wants to go, this energy. So this is quite deep for you Scorpios, and I know that you Scorpios like that, don't you? A bit of depth there. So plenty of... It's also busy, I think. It's going to be a very busy month for you Scorpios. Why? Because Mercury is going retrograde in the third house, and that often shows more of a busyness. it could mean that, so it's a good time for you Scorpios. If you do have computers, back them up before the Mercury retrograde. And when is it going? I can't talk anymore. Talking about communication. Now, standing still, that's what Mercury wants when it goes retrograde on the 6th. And then on the 26th, it's going forwards again. So a good time to have that deep conversation, to have that new beginning, you could say, to have that new way of communicating is after the 26th. You are going to see the results then. So if you don't see the results immediately, there is a lot going on, and that's good. So pretty deep stuff there going on in your mind, which is the 3rd house. And what goes really well with that is Mars in your sign. Mars is in your sign. That's every 2 years. And it comes into Scorpio as from the 4th of January. And it will be for an exceptional long time in your sign of Scorpio. So in March, it will be going into Sagittarius, but then it goes back into Scorpio. So, and it goes back for the last degrees, like 29, 28, 27, up until 23 degrees. And that retrograde is happening in your sign at the end of May. So June and also July. So a long time for you Scorpios to have Mars there. So it shows that you are not only making a huge transformation, you could say. A huge transformation, can't seem to have another word. And an engagement as well with the way that you think. It's like changing a lot. But at the same time, you're profiling yourself in a different way. Mars in your sign. You're setting, if it has been a long time, sometimes in significant relationships, we need to redraw some boundaries. We need to redraw the lines, you could say. You can do that. So be aware that you come off strong in January with Mars in your sign. So stay gentle, but I think you can. And on the other hand, when Mars will go backwards in your sign, it shows that you will work a lot about your profile, about how you present yourself to others. So it's not a process that is done in January and February, about working on yourself, about new projects. They can launch now in January, absolutely. So you can launch some new projects, whether it is work, whether it is some, it's like you start off fresh, but you will redo things and make some little adjustments there throughout, a bit further in the year, but I'll address that in the other monthly horoscopes. So that Mars is very important. It's your ruler. It's you. You will feel better. You will feel more in your element in January. You will start new things. You're ready for it. If you know that you plan your communications wisely, slowly, so a bit slowly, wisely, but deep. You're going to have some very deep conversations, some very profound conversations as well. Having Venus in the 2nd can be good for maybe receiving a little bit more money, maybe receiving at least, and maybe that's even better, to regain self-worth if it was a bit low before, or to strengthen it if you already had quite a package of self-worth. So, and last but not least, which is, I've been talking about this, I think last year, many months ago, I made a video about Jupiter and the North Node coming together. And that has such a beautiful significance of growth and expansion and the desire to grow and expand. And that's happening in your 11th house of hope, aspirations, new goals. It seems that a lot of Scorpios are going to, although you don't have Saturn in your sign anymore, you're not really having those pressure planets in your sign or squaring up to your sign, But it seems that a lot of Scorpio now are going to show some big changes, are going to start new things. Absolutely. But you're going to do it very wise, I think, and rather a bit slowly and with a bit of adjustments there. And with the help of friends, maybe, because the Jupiter and the North Node in the 11th is fantastic for friends. And maybe friends from other countries, from foreign people or people with a different background, because this is a double whammy here. North Node is also foreign energy, and Jupiter as well. So there can be expansion there, or finding them very meaningful. They're helping you out. They're supporting you. You feel connected, and having also new aspirations and the desire for new aspirations. So maybe if you said December was a time that normally I reflect and didn't come out a lot, well, in January there is a lot more new, fresh, aspirational energy coming your way. Having said all that, I wish you a very good month, you Scorpios. I like the month very much for you. It's very Scorpio-like. And it's also a bit lightness there in your 11th house with friends. Working very good together with the 3rd house. So lots of communication with friends as well. Deep communication, that is. And you like depth, don't you? So, thank you very much for watching. I wish you a very great month with a bit of catharsis there, with a bit of transformation there, why not? And thank you for supporting me, my YouTube channel and all of that last year. Keep on doing that, and see you next month. Bye-bye.